My name is Nisar. I am an author and a journalist. Let me make you a little nervous, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for your dissertation. Yeah. Kashmiris are up in arms because India is occupying Kashmir illegally. That's the reason why they are protesting. Now, given Mr. Trump's zeal for striking peace and peace deal, can Narendra Modi use his friendship with Donald Trump to solve out the problem of Kashmir? There are 1 million soldiers stationed in Kashmir to control 7 million Kashmiris. So what are you going to do about the Kashmir problem? Okay. You haven't spoken about it.
Can we just capture the question there? Thank you.
Oh, okay. Look, on Kashmir, actually we have done, I think, a good job solving most of it. I think removing Article 370 was step number one. Then restoring growth and economic activity and social justice in Kashmir was step number 2. Holding elections, which were done with a very high turnout, was step number 3. I think the part we are waiting for is the return of the stolen part of Kashmir, which is on the under illegal Pakistani occupation. When that's done, I assure you, Kashmir solved. The second question, Global South. Look, there are different ways of looking at it, and I give you a perspective. What do countries in Global South largely want? They want more options. They want more experiences to compare, relatable experiences. They would like to get into relationships which actually help them build their society on a sustainable basis. So forget India, China for a moment. I think what is happening and is that much of the Global South in the previous decades had very limited options. They either had Western options, they had multilateral development banks, which were in a way associated with it. Within the Western options, they had maybe some subsets out there. Then at some point, they had Soviet/Russian options. Then you had a set of China options. Now today, if there are Indian options, I would argue that actually it's better for the Global South. It's not worse, because they now have many more possibilities to choose from. They will be in a position to evaluate which of these options and which of these relationships somewhere fit into their growth aspirations. And I can certainly say, where India is concerned, we have today projects in almost 80 countries of the Global South. We have delivered actually about 600 significant projects in the last many years. And I do think that by doing so, obviously the partner country is benefited, but it also strengthens the hands of the partner country in dealing with other relationships. So I would not put this negatively at all. In fact, just like I say for India's positioning, a multipolar world is helpful, I think for Global South as well, I think a multipolar world is helpful, and it actually increases their negotiating ability. The last question, what kind of relationship we want with China. Look, we actually have, by any standards, a very, very unique relationship. First of all, we are the only 2 billion plus populated countries in the world. We have, both of us, a very long history. We've had the ups and downs in our history. You have today both countries on an upward trajectory. And here's the challenge. And it so happens we are actually direct neighbors. So the challenge is this, that when any country rises, its balances with the world and with its neighbors obviously change. Now, when two countries of this size, this history, this complexity, this consequence rise broadly in parallel, and obviously they have an interplay with each other, I think the issue is how do you create stable equilibriums and then transition into the next set of equilibriums or next phase of equilibriums. And we want a stable relationship, but we want a relationship where our interests are respected, where our sensitivities are recognized, where it works for both of us. So I think that is really been the challenge in the relationship. And obviously, for us, because of the border, for us, the management of the border, the assumption for the last 40 years has been that there must be peace and tranquility in the border areas if the relationship is to grow. If the border is unstable or is not peaceful or is not tranquil, obviously it will have consequences on the growth and direction of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's just squeeze in a few more hands than ever. All right, I'm going to the gentleman right in the middle who's been very patient.
Anis Nasser, retired banker. Dr. Jaishankar, one huge question for you. A lot of talk has been emanating from BRICS group to replace dollar and have its own payment system. Do you think, in view of fast-changing demographic in respect of politics and economics, is this likely to happen in the next 5-10 years?
Look, I take the two dollar questions together. As I said, first of all, I don't think there's any policy on our part to replace the dollar. As I said, at the end of the day, the dollar as the reserve currency is the source of international economic stability, and right now what we want in the world is more economic stability, not less. Now, obviously there are, I would also say, in all honesty, I don't think there's a unified BRICS position on this. I think BRICS members, and now that we have more members, have very diverse positions on this matter. So the suggestion or the assumption that somewhere there's a united BRICS position against the dollar, I think is not borne out by facts. And to me it's kind of deterministic that if there is multipolarity has to translate itself into a currency multipolarity. It doesn't have to. Again, even when I was explaining multipolarity, my point was that if there are multiple players, it's not that India's relationship with each player is the same. There are different considerations in each relationship. For us right now, we think that the United States, as really in many ways, clearly the largest economy in the world, in many ways the almost the fulcrum or the key player in the global international architecture. Our own relationship is growing, it's very positive. We do believe today that working with the United States and strengthening the international financial system, economic system, is actually what should be the priority. So I think that both a strategic assessment as well as our sense of what is required today by the international economy will really guide our thinking on this matter.